So today we're going to be looking at your new Flash 515 Chausson, and I'm going to be pointing out the main features of your new motorhome. If you have any questions after, please don't hesitate to ask us on the day. But we hope you enjoy your new motorhome. So the first thing we're going to want to look at would be your key. So the key's got 3 buttons on, so unlock, lock, and again that would be to unlock if we had a van, then that would be your rear doors. So to lock the cab doors, press the centre button. To unlock the cab doors, press the top button. Again, you can press this little silver button and that allows the key to retract. So the next thing we're going to look at is your gas. So the way in which you would fill the gas is through this. So it is quite stiff, so I would use some pliers. You'll see you've got your little connection. So the way in which we fill up is you'd go to an LPG filling station, you'd get the hose, it then goes in, rotate, very similar to this. It'll have an end very similar to this, so it slots in, we turn it, and then it locks into position. So we're going to fill up the gas bottles using that. It's a lot cheaper, a lot more effective. Again, if you go into the continent, you won't then need to worry about colour gas or anything of that nature. Inside you can see you've got your gas low bottle. The way in which we isolate the gas low bottle to turn off is off this little controller here. So again, turn clockwise to turn off, and then turn anti-clockwise to turn on. So just make sure that's off, in the off position. Again, to close this door, it is quite tight because the seal's got to press it in, and as we press in, turn to the left. We've got our fridge vents, top and bottom. Then have our waste water outlet. The way in which we would empty our waste is through this lever here. So pull it towards you, and that empties the waste. Push it in. Again, that stops the waste from coming out. When I say waste, I mean grey water, which would be from the shower or from your wash basin. Then have the cassette toilet. Remove the cassette toilet. What we need to do is this little handle here, pull it up, then pull it towards you. To empty, what we need to do is, it comes out of this funnel here. So just take this top off, and then as we empty, hold it by this handle here and at the back, and then as we pour, press this red button, or orange button should I say, and that will let any air out and allow the toilet to empty. To put the cassette back in, after you've emptied it, lift it up by the handle, put it back into position. It just slots in. I've probably missed the most important part as well, which is the cassette toilet also has wheels. So to get the handle to extend, lift the handle towards you and extend upwards, and then you can take it to the Elson point using the wheels. To retract the handle, push the handle down. Once you get at this position here, lift it slightly so it clicks in behind these 2 grey lugs, and then again put it back into position. And then when it is located, the handle will seat just into that position. This model also has fixings for a bike rack if required. You've also got the tow bar. Here, this is your boiler outlet, and on here, this is your 240 volt connection point as well. So In terms of the boiler outlet, I'll just show you how to do that. So whenever you're washing the vehicle, again, or if you're using it on electric, you can keep this cover on. As soon as you want to use it on gas, you've got to remove it. If not, what you'll see later on in the video is the little control panel where you flick your gas boiler on. It'll come with a red warning light. So that's because it's a balanced fluid, it needs oxygen to work. So an exhaust, so it needs to disperse the fumes. So in order for that to work, grab the bottom, put your thumb in the center, pull towards you, and that just lifts off. Nice and easy. To put back on, just make sure the lugs at the top are on, and then press in the button till you hear the click, and then you know it's located correctly. On here again, this is a 240 volt outlet. So I'll grab a hookup cable and show you how we plug in. So with our 240 volt hookup, this is the cable, this is how it will come. Flick the top up, make sure the top goes over the top of here, and then push it in, and then this, you'll see this, it'll click slightly. That just secures it in, so it can't then be pulled out. But also, whenever you're going to drive off, always check to ensure that you've unhooked, unplugged should I say, and then to remove the hookup, press that little blue toggle on the left, and then that will allow you to remove the hookup. Okay, just make sure the flap is clicked into position. Then as we move over, this is our water filler. So again, just get your key. At the moment it's locked, so you won't be able to open it, so that just rotates. Once we open, press in, turn to the left, and that will remove, and then just fill up your water using a food grade hose pipe to empty your fresh water. So again, this is only something that you would really need to do when traveling, when winterizing, or if you're not going to be using the motorhome for a long period of time. Unfortunately, it's not in the easiest of locations. So just behind your exhaust for your diesel heating system, you'll see you've got a blue pipe with a cap on. So this is the pressure fitting. So the only way to release it is you've got to push it up. You've got two little lugs at the side, push it up, and then push the lugs down, and then that will then allow fresh water to drain. And then again, just put that back on. Just to the right as well, you've also got a travel drain. So this here, if we turn this, again, it's because we haven't got much water in there. There's 10% of water, then if you want to just travel with 10 litres of water in, turn this on, and that will ensure that the fresh water is drained, just to allow 10 litres of water. That's better really, or people do that generally because of payload, but again, you have got a pretty good payload. You'll have around about 500 kilos, so it's not really something that you need to worry about. Again, that will be only something that you need to do if you really wish. It's not something that's a necessity. And again, certainly draining of the fresh water is something you do just if you're not using the vehicle for a long period of time, or if you're looking to winterize. So as we walk round to the front, to lift the bonnet, use the main key, insert, turn to the left, and turn to the right. So again, unfortunately I need two hands for this, but once you turn to the left, you would use the second hand, your left hand, to lift the bonnet. And then again, under the bonnet, you've got your engine fuses. If for any reason you needed to jump start the vehicle or charge the vehicle, you've got your positive terminal just under here, so that just lifts, and you would take an earth from I don't know if you can see, but there's a so if for any reason you need to charge the vehicle or jump start the vehicle, you've got this little positive terminal here. Your negative terminal, or what you used to earth on, would be just down here. So you'd link your negative onto here. This is your oil dipstick, just here, and again screen wash. So they're the main things that you're gonna require. Just the bottom, this is your second stage manufacturing plate. So this tells us it was manufactured by Trigano. This is your type approval number. This is your chassis number. This is your maximum permissible load, which is 3,500 kilos. And the H0F03809 is also the serial number associated with this motorhome from Chausson. Let's move inside. As we first enter the motorhome, the first thing we're going to want to do is to turn the power on. The way in which we do that is to press this button on the left hand side, which is now illuminated. So we'll press and hold that, that'll be off. So we come in, turn that on, that activates the power. Next thing we want to do will be turning the lights. If we've got water in, water pump, and this one is for your external light, for your awning light. So we don't need that on at the moment. Button just down bottom left hand side, we press that. That is the battery for your habitations. That's telling us we are full. Again, that little green light illuminated tells us that we're on hookup. And if I also press the engine battery, that tells us that the engine battery is full. Water, again, only a small amount of water in, no waste, just highlighted there. And that dims or brightens the control panel. After we've turned on our power supply and lights, we may next want to then turn on our fridge. The way in which you do this is by pressing the left hand button, which is the power button. The moment gas is selected, which is illuminated, and just here that tells us the temperature of the fridge. So 2 being the warmest setting, and as we go up, the colder the fridge will get. If you want it on hookup, press to the left on the little hookup symbol. Flame is gas, and the little 2 battery symbol, that indicates at 12 volt. Now the 12 volt will only work when the engine is started. So if I press that now, we get the little fault button. So put it back onto hookup, that stops. The reason it's doing that is because there is no 12 volt because the engine isn't started. To open the fridge, use this little button here on the top, opens, and again you can see it's illuminated inside, plenty of storage space. And our freezer just here, which I've just pulled out. Obviously you got the option of making it into one large fridge or a separate freezer. When storing the fridge, you don't want it in the fully closed position, as so. You want to open it, and just on the right hand side of the fridge, you've got this little, where the light is, this little spacer here. Press in and pull out, and that means that the door will engage, leaving a bit of breathing. So that'll mean that the fridge won't get mouldy when left for a long period of time. And then to turn the fridge off, press and hold. At the bottom of the bed, you'll notice a number of controls. This first one is for your heating. Heating is controlled by your Webasto or Eberspacher heating, which is a diesel heater. The way in which we turn that on is press the bottom button. That illuminates, that means that it's now turned on. And we've got this knob. If we turn all the way to the right, so clockwise, that's maximum, so that's the maximum heat. And if we turn it all the way to the left, then anti-clockwise, that'll turn the heating temperature down. If you want to just run the fans only, press the top button, and that'll just run the fans. That's really just to help to cool it down. So if it's a very warm day, it will help to circulate air. And then to turn it off, press the middle button. Keep it held until the red light's off. Just below that, you've got your Truma Boiler. So for the top one, that's for your gas on the gas side. So say your Truma Boiler for your hot water on the gas side, and also just below the Truma Boiler on electric. So it would function, simply press up to either the 50 degrees or the 70 degrees. So we'll go up to 50. When you turn that on, you'll notice that there's no light illuminated. If there is a fault, what will happen is you'll get a little red light which will show up on the control panel itself. At the moment, as you can see, there is no fault, so everything's running fine. If it does turn on to red, the first thing I would say to go and check is to make sure you've taken the cover off the cowl cover off the boiler exhaust, which I showed a little bit earlier on. So just make sure that is removed, and there should be no problems. To turn off, just turn the little switch into the center. Hear that click? That's the solenoid turning off. And then just below we have the electric. It works exactly the same way. So up for a lesser temperature and down for a hotter temperature, so 50 and 70 degrees. So if we flick that down, on electric you will find that it takes a little bit longer to warm up, so you're probably looking at around about 10 minutes for hot water on electric, and slightly less for gas. As we've now turned the water pump on, when we come over to the tap, if we lift a handle up, notice we get water. Again, hot, rotate to the left, and then cold, rotate to the right. To turn it off, just press the lever down, and that is the same for all taps, so it functions exactly the same in the bathroom. So again, hot, cold, and then again for the shower, again good pressure, so you can get a nice shower using the water. And again, all we do, the shower just slots back into its holding position. So our grill is located just above our sink. The way in which we turn this on, you've got a little light at the back which is operated just off the switch here, and then all we do is simply turn the knob to the center. So again, when you turn it around, you'll see the large flame and the small flame. Turn to the larger flame, press the pizza igniter, keep it held in for a couple of seconds, then just release, and as you can see, we've got the grill functioning. To turn it off, simply turn the knob to the right or clockwise, and again that will turn it off. And to turn the light off, just flick the switch, the door is magnetized, and that just shuts nice and easily. The hob works in a very similar way. Unfortunately, this model doesn't have a piezo ignition, so what we need to do is press, turn anti-clockwise, and then again use a match or a lighter just to ignite, and that's it. When travelling, please ensure you shut the glass hob lid as well as the sink, and again just stops anything from smashing. Also gives you extra worktop space as well. But please also be careful to ensure, because there isn't a cut-off here, that when you've got the hob on, you allow this to cool down. And again, when this is on the small flame, it can be very difficult to see because it will burn very blue in good sunlight. As we enter the shower room, you've got the separate shower, which is controlled by these doors, which simply come across and link in on both sides, and that is how we actually create the separate shower. So standing inside, you do the same with this door. Again, just release the Velcro, and then quite simply slot that in to place, and then you create a great shower room. And again, do exactly the same with this other door, and then it just stops everything from getting soaking wet. When travelling, please do remember to tie these back. The doors are quite firm, and the last thing we would like is for these to get broken. So please remember to restrain them when travelling, and also when showering, please remember to take the plugs out at both sides. Great thing that the Chaussons also provide you with is this little handy bar. This is great for if you've been out for a long walk, it's started raining or anything that's got wet, to hang. And again, just allows it to drain down. So great use of space if you're not using it as a shower. Again, your roof light up here to close, just simply use the knob, turn anti-clockwise to put it up and clockwise to put it down. Make sure you've turned it so it's tight, and again that it won't lift to let water in on an evening. To use the toilet, what we have is just the left hand side, got this little control panel. So if we lift the lid up, by pressing the blue button, we'll then put water in. The flush comes from the main water tank, so if the beauty of that is that you don't need to fill up a secondary tank, it all comes from the main water tank. And the handle to open the flap is just located around the right hand side, so this grey handle, grab, pull towards it, so that's now in the lock position. So when we look at the pan, you'll notice that the blade is closed, and when I push it away from me, it opens the flap. So again, push it away to open, pull it back to close. Also, you've got a little toilet roll holder, and you also have a blown air heating port in the washroom as well. Looking at lights, you've got your reading lights, which are all individually switched. So on here, just on the side, again, same with the opposite one, identical, little switch. Blinds and fly screen on all windows. This main light here, which is above in the main living area, is switched from the right hand switch and the switch to the left hand side is for your little night lights. So just below you've got your little blue lights. You've got one there in the kitchen area and one next to the habitation door. In the kitchen we have the LED strip light, push button. We have our little reading lights, which again, the switches are located just behind here. And we also have another LED light, which is located here, which has a push button just on the right hand side. Operation of the windows. So you've got your little latches which open. On the right hand side you'll notice you've got this bar, which again you can turn the knob clockwise and that will keep the window locked into that position. Then also have your fly screen, which pulls down, and blind that pulls up. Again, we have that on all windows. Roof lights, so your large roof light, so this is your Hecky roof light. This is operated with the handle. So to close, wind anti-clockwise, so turn, then pop the handle back. Then again we also have fly screen and blind. To lift up the bed, simply lift the mattress slightly, grab the frame. The bed's on gas struts, so you can access anything that you have under the bed from inside. In terms of your 240 volts, your 240 volt trips are located in here to ensure that you're on 240. If say you get a problem when you're at a campsite and for some reason you're not sure if 240 is coming in or not, press this little blue button here, which is your test button. If this trips, then you know you're on 240 volt. Your 12 volt fuses and charger unit are located under a single seat. So to gain access, all you need to do is lift up this flap here, and then just here you have your charger unit, or mains charger unit, and to the right hand side you have all of your fuses. And again, each fuse tells you what it represents. So we have lighting, water pump, heating, lights, fridge, etc, etc. So that would be the first place to look. I would also recommend that you get a range of fuses just in case you get any problems or anything trips. So as we sit in the cab, the left hand side we have our ignition, or right hand side should I say, do it my left, my right. And then again we also have our lights. So at the moment the lights are off, turn it to the right, and then right again, and that puts our headlights on. Main beam is located just on the indicator stalk, so push it forwards for main beam, and then to turn it off, press it forwards again. Again, what we also have, if we turn to the left, turn it off, again we can adjust the height of the headlight as well in terms of the angle. And then on the left we have our fog lights, front and rear. Mirrors are adjusted, turn to the right for the driver's side, turn to the left for passenger, and use the joystick to move the mirror. Just here we have our electric windows to be controlled, which can be controlled both from the driver's side, and just below you can also lock the doors or unlock the doors. On the steering wheel itself we have our cruise control. We also have our radio controls, volume up, volume down. Again, we can skip through the various channels, or if you've got a USB in there, you can use that to control each track. And on here we have our menu controls, so we can scroll up and down. It'll tell you a variety of different bits of information, and to enter, press OK. To select reverse, obviously press the clutch, lift the collar up, all the way along, and then up. In the centre we have a little 12 volt ideal for a charger, a phone charger, or a sat nav. We also have the blower controls, so we have from 0 to 4 being the maximum. We can either recirculate if we press this button, or again without that pressed it'll just take fresh air from outside. Our air conditioning to turn on, so if I turn that on, obviously you've got to be turned, the blowers have got to be turned on for the air conditioner to function. So to turn that on and off, use this button. And then again, direction. So at the moment it's on windows, so windows and feet only, and face and feet and face. So in the center we have our hazard warning light button, and again when the doors are locked that will illuminate. On our radio we have auxiliary, so again that will be if we plug in a USB or a phone into here, phone, so again we can pair our phone, and menu to add a device. So if you want to link your phone, utilize that setting, which again we can do on the day for you. To turn the radio off, press and hold. And in terms of the front, you've got your curtains, which would go around the curtain track to screen off. So I hope you've enjoyed your talk.